Temperature 53, altimeter 3000.
People like you, organizations like RampCheck, I love you guys.
4, 5, 6. Gotta be down, ready now.
You are clear for takeoff runway 21 left. Winds are calm. Stand by for the retrans on uniform. It's showtime.
Welcome, everybody, to another cold and wet edition of the RampCheck podcast. I'm Tony.
You know, when Tony, oh, by the way, I'm Aaron. You know, when Tony's
Hi.
saying cold and wet when he lives in southern Utah, which is typically pretty warm this time of year, it's bad.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes.
I got to play some pickleball last night before the weather moved in. I didn't get to play golf. And I was out,
poor Tony.
I was out working, doing everything today in the rain. It was just terrible. And Ryan's internet is out, but I think, oh, look, it's back.
Hey,
I'm Ryan.
welcome, brother.
Just in the nick of time.
Damn it, how close was I?
Like 30 seconds.
Okay, I almost made it.
Yep, just right after the intro. And hey, look, we already got Ade Carver checking in. It's 2 a.m.
Hey.
It's RampCheck time.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
What's the weather like over there?
Yeah,
in the
what's
UK?
the weather like in the UK? We'd sure like to know. So let us know when you get a chance. We are live every Wednesday night. It's 7:02 p.m. And anyway, every Wednesday night right here on YouTube. We're also live on Facebook and the Twitters.
Twitters.
Slightly moist.
You know, one of these times we're gonna get Rumble going too, because
Yes,
slightly moist.
Oh,
Which,
God.
depending on what you're talking about, that's good or bad, I guess.
What did Robin Williams say in the movie Good Morning Vietnam? That's great when you're with a lady, but not when you're in the jungle.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about moist and hot goo and stuff like that on last week's episode.
That's right. Type
Oh,
1
yeah,
and Type
indeed.
4.
That's
That's
right,
right.
Type 1 and Type 4. And I'm not going to surprise you guys with by going through the regulations for de-icing again tonight. But
Thank you, because we fully discussed it before.
We did, didn't we?
but it is obviously, it's cold, it's moist, slightly moist in the UK, but
The UK is
cold and wet out there.
always moist, I think. So
It
it's
is.
always so green.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's always green in the UK. I spent some time in Germany, about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
A long time
It's
ago.
not the UK, but you know.
But okay, so we went through Mildenhall Air Base, and it was slightly moist while I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was
That's
green.
That's England.
From what I could see from my backward-facing seat in the C5 Galaxy. So
That's awesome. Closest I've ever been to the UK is flying into France. So a little south.
France is a little green, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I flew into Paris, Charles de Gaulle, and I mean, it's Paris is actually pretty dense. Cities, houses.
I don't know,
towns.
Lloyd.
I mean,
The
it's
French are assholes.
Yeah,
like the salmon of Papistrano.
I can't say I've ever been across the pond, so
Yeah.
so good for you guys.
We need to get you there because we all need to go to the Paris Air Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will for sure.
And
Oh,
we
yeah,
need
we
to,
will.
and then we need to hop over to the UK so we can enjoy the mock loop as well.
There you go.
Those are a
Yep.
few items on the RampCheck bucket list. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, those are all things as we grow and as we, continue to do what we're doing. We have a lot of plans for stuff like that in the future. So
Spread our wings a little bit. more.
Abe
That's right.
Carver says he lives in Mildenhall. Okay, so that's cool.
Oh, cool.
So I was in your neighborhood 28 years ago. I don't know if you were even around by then, but I should say.
By then.
Back then. Tomato. Flight deck cockpit. Anyway.
There you go.
And we got aircraft images checking in. Just missed a few seconds. How's it going? How's it going tonight, boys? You missed an OW there.
That's okay.
We do have it going, though.
Yes,
Right.
it is going.
That's okay.
And-
If you missed a few seconds, I wasn't on for the first 30 seconds, so you didn't miss anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So thanks again for watching.
So tonight
Joining along on the live stream.
Tonight on the RampCheck podcast, we're going to talk about a few things. Obviously, the title of tonight's episode is WTF is Up With ATC and the FAA. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight.
OMG.
There's thank you, brother. There's been a few close calls recently. We're going to talk about those. The most recent one in Burbank involving SkyWest Airlines, my alma mater, and Mesa Airlines. And then, of course, a tragic lifeguard flight lost near Reno over the last couple of days as well. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Aid Carver saying, chucking one in there. What's your views on the story that's coming out that AMC are removing markings, serials, etc., from their aircraft?
Well, unless they're going to remove the ADS-B and out of the cockpits for the AMC aircraft, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
AMC, we're talking Air Mobility Command, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought.
For sure.
Wanted to make sure we weren't talking about AMC theaters.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not. We're definitely not.
Yeah, we're an aviation podcast, brother.
Not movie chat night on the RampCheck podcast.
I'll have to look into that story. I actually haven't heard that, and I don't know why they would do that. You'd think that there's other more important, pressing things our military need to be doing, like preparing for maybe some kind of hostile action, maybe China, maybe Russia. Ukraine? I don't know. We don't want World War III, but for God's sakes, these leaders we have these days, and don't get me started. God. I'm not going to get into a political discussion here, but yeah, it just sounds like a bunch of stupid bullshit.
Hashtag I stand with Ukraine. I'm gonna get.
What are they gonna do? Are they gonna read?
I'm gonna set my permanent holiday lights to blue and yellow.
Yeah, dude.
And I mean, it's awful what's happening to the Ukrainian people. It's terrible. It's the leaders causing all this bullshit, or the lack thereof leadership.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's clear our stance is like we don't think it's good for anyone, and we care for anyone that is suffering. But like you said, for God's sakes, can some sort of leadership step in and focus on what's important? Like I for one would like to not be in World War III over incompetency in leadership,
corruption.
Yeah. So, but I guess we'll stay tuned on that story. As far as what he said, I haven't really read up on that, but maybe we can kind of look a little more into it and comment on that like next week or later on.
It could have something to do with posturing. See, look, the U.S., they're removing their markings from their aircraft. They must be ready for war.
Yeah.
So,
well,
it's so stupid.
I just don't understand why. Okay, so I'm pulling up. Hold on one second. Okay, so since he brought that up, let me share. Let me share this.
Let's do it.
Let's see here. So this is Aviation Week, Aviation Week Network, aviationweek.com, by Brian Everstein. February 28, 2023, U.S. Air Force mobility aircraft operating without most markings and tail numbers. Let's see. A U.S. Air Force KC-135 on the flight line at Fairchild Air Force Base, Washington, without most of the traditional identifying markings. For decades, airlift and tanker aircraft of the U.S. military have flown with a proud U.S. Air Force painted on the side of the fuselage, along with markings indicating home units, tail numbers, and oftentimes a tail flash showing the unit's heritage, which is badass. I mean, we all love that.
Yeah.
But that is no more for much of Air Mobility Command. AMC recently directed a change to its fleet, removing the large U.S. Air Force unit markings, tail numbers, and other identifying markings. Recent photographs of KC-135s and C-130s operating show just a small U.S. flag on the tail and a light gray U.S. or Air Force roundel. AMC says the change was directed for operational security.
Well, there you have it.
Oh God! You know, I really
No, that's not why.
I really fear that this has something to do with the wokeness going on right now across our military and militaries all over the world. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, yeah, we can't have U.S. Air Force on the side of our aircraft because it might make somebody feel bad or scared, or it might make them feel angry. I mean, honestly, that's the kind of bullshit we're dealing with these days.
Yeah, because it's like if I see an F-22 and F-35, it's like I don't already know it's the fucking Air Force. Like, come on, like I don't know. It just seems silly to me. It just seems like what for operational security.
So what that sentence should say is AMC says the change was directed for operational diversity.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
I mean, it's like what you said, Ryan. Okay, it's not the U.S. Air Force markings are no longer on there. Oh gosh, is that a KC-135? I don't know now.
I know. I mean, yeah, for real. So sometimes things like this, especially when it involves aviation and things that we love, it's like I just think, like, really, like this is what time is and resources are being spent on. And then I could take the approach of like, me maybe being naive to some things, and maybe there are some things like behind the scenes and in the books why this would make sense, but like just as an aviation or as an AVGEEK and just growing up with it and all, to me, I just can't really understand how this really is for operational security. I mean, am I wrong, like, in feeling that way?
Well, it sounds really idiotic, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. Maybe so. As the article continues, okay, it does say. Let's see. Decision. Okay, so AMC has recently removed tail flashes for its active duty tankers, starting with the new KC-46. The decision was made to make it easier for aircraft to move between units without having to be repainted. But that change was specifically for what AMC calls fleet management and not relating to limiting public knowledge of aircraft movements. So, I mean, what is it? Is it this operational security? Is it, I mean, is the enemy really going to go, oh, that tanker is from Utah, so, we're going to target that more than, I mean, I don't know.
Fortunately, based on what the article is saying, it's only the active duty fleet right now. So hopefully we'll still get to see, the symbols for the states from the Air National Guard units, and maybe the reserve units aren't do there. But I mean, so think about it. The heritage that's displayed on some of these aircraft now being removed, it's all part of the erasing of history. I'll tell you what, there's some evil shit going on out there, and it's just little tiny thing at a time. It's like you put the frog in a pot of boiling water, it jumps out. But if you put it in a pot of warm water and then slowly turn up the heat, it just stays in there till it dies. I'll tell you, it's just little shit happening over and over and over every single day, it seems like now. So
seems like it, yeah.
Well, I can tell you what the Navy thinks of that law or rule in the Air Force.
Wow, yeah. But see, that just looks badass.
Hell yeah, it does. Oh, yeah. So this is from the Drive, the War Zone. FA-18 Super Hornet retro gloss black paint scheme emerges.
Yeah,
isn't that just bad?
That
I mean, it totally just is a throwback to the Playboy Bunny logo wearing Phantom and Tomcat jets.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, look at that.
That
is just badass, man. Anyway, I had to throw that in there because I'm sure the Navy's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Right.
The seamen showing their manliness.
There you go.
Okay. Well, there you have it.
From Preston Nelson. Sweet that you guys do live streams now. I started listening again a little while ago and now on episode 23, trying to work my way through all the episodes. Well, Preston, thanks for checking in, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, a couple of those, Ed, we're grateful you're at episode 23 because then that means that you made it through like the first dozen episodes that were rough as hell.
One. Well, one was pretty rough.
Hey, I love the aircraft challenges and stuff like that. That was some good stuff.
I do too. Just one more thing when we're going back to this is from Aid Carver. Look at the 100th ARW. They have a square D, which harkens back to World War II, as well as an RAF shield above the square D. That now looks like disappearing.
That's just.
I'm telling you, part of it is erasing the heritage and erasing the history. Go ahead.
I like retro stuff. I just think it's too bad. Yeah. I mean, and obviously they don't do stuff for us, but like, I don't know.
Well,
like I said,
all I can say is thank God leadership does change throughout the federal government and through the military.
Yep.
Because
God, right?
I mean, I mean, if you think about it, like when the F-22 Raptor line was shut down, I mean, I guarantee that, other administrations or other defense secretaries or who knows, Air Force secretary, maybe that wouldn't have happened. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it is what it is, but, you get some wins, you get some losses. We'll just put this in the loss column.
Yeah.
And hopefully somebody else coming in
hopefully
will change it.
Hopefully history will look back on this last 4 years and just
so let's end this topic with one question. Okay. What do you honestly think the security concerns would be to have Air Mobility Command aircraft painted up with serial numbers, U.S. Air Force on the side, or some kind of tail flash?
Right.
Honestly,
it makes no sense. Because
I'm really trying to think.
Because something like a Raptor or an F-35, like no one's really going to get close enough to that in combat to see that anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm honestly like, I have no clue.
I don't know how knowing what the serial number is of an aircraft that's at an air base or that it's at, at whatever civilian airport. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
There are
trying to piss off spotters, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I was just going to say that. You just words out of my mouth. It's just to piss off spotters because, I mean, when we're out at like Red Flag and we're like, a certain aircraft, oh, I've got that tail number over here and just, and so, and there's a hardcore AVGEEKs that will keep a log, of tail numbers and where it was spotted, where the aircraft was. And it's actually really cool to know a tail number of an aircraft because there's a lot of history behind it.
Exactly. I mean, there's jets that have air-to-air kills that are still flying. There's jets that, had battle damage. I mean, there's just so many different. We'll actually have to ask Sluggo this question.
Yeah. Well, and I was just going to bring up Sluggo too, because that's the other thing, because he said that when he and his wife took his son out of school and he did like a learning summer across the globe, and he was flying back, and that was his aircraft. He knew that by the tail number. So
yeah, I know. Spotters know too much. It's so true. I know.
Pretty soon we're going to be a threat to national security, aircraft spotters.
Which is so stupid, because I tell you what, and I know I've discussed this with you brothers, but if airport operations, if base security, if base police were smart, they would connect with these spotters. They would connect with these aviation nuts to be almost like, an extra set of eyes outside the field, because
for sure
any one of us would be more than happy. And we have in the past reported suspicious shit going on, know, whether it's somebody that's just looking, I mean, if somebody gets a drone out, or if somebody, I don't know, what I'm trying to say?
Well, we're all on the same team.
If they were smart, and I don't know, maybe they just think that, well, I'm airport operations, and, I'm not going to go talk to that freaking nerdy ass photographer. What's he going to do for me? Well, you know what? That nerdy ass photographer knows a lot of shit, and they see a lot of shit, and they pay attention to a lot of shit, and it could potentially save lives. It could potentially, save a disaster from happening. I mean, there's actually been incidents where there's been spotters that have spotted sparks coming out of engines. At military bases and commercial airports, and have actually called operations and been like, hey, I'm out here taking pictures of airplanes, and that aircraft right there just shot out a shit ton of sparks out of its number one engine. And it and air crews have met up with those people and thanked them, and it can happen. I mean, there are incidents where it has happened. So
right. Exactly. We just got a chat from Tony Rumfollow. Spotter gonna fly.
It's not enough for you to be actually on the podcast. You have to go and comment.
Thanks for watching, Tony. Appreciate your comments. No, and here's another thing too, is Ryan behind you.
Yeah.
That poster. So what the hell does it matter if the tail number or the markings are not on the aircraft? There's posters like that. You can get them all over the place that have all the different military types of aircraft and who they belong to and this and that. So for them to say for operational security, I'm sorry, Air Mobility Command leadership, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe someone up at high in the Air Mobility Command will see our podcast and, let us know what it's really about. Yeah, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, hopefully.
And then Aaron, this is driving me nuts, brother. It looks like you've got Kit from Knight Rider behind you on your desk. What is that?
It's the printer. It's just the LEDs when it's on idle.
Is that the AI that you were sending us pictures from last night?
Oh my god, dude!
Is it hacking? Is it hacking into our program? It's going to be hello, Aaron. I would like to be a part of this podcast.
I know. Yeah, it's not Kit from Knight Rider, but I
was just wondering.
But yeah, so okay, so I'm actually going to let me see if I can. You guys go ahead and maybe read is there any other comments you can read?
Matt Wadman checking in. Hey, Wadman, what's up, buddy? Wadman wants a close-up of your poster, Ryan. Can you move it a little closer?
Oh, yeah. So
little show and tell time.
Just so you know, Wadman, I'm in the middle of a remodel of my office, so I have pictures just like that with modern warplanes, airliners, all that. But this one is the modern warplanes, and I can show you. I just have to get off my headset quick.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, and while Ryan's reaching for that, I got my Hogs in the Sand book by Buck Wyndham. It's
hell
by
yeah.
the way, it's autographed. See
What's
that?
We all three got one. Thank you,
Oh
Buck.
yeah, mine's it. So you're gonna see the reflection of my light, but this is just
it's a little too close, brother.
modern warplanes.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
It's just got a little of everything on it.
How old is that poster, brother?
Oh, dude, we had this, Aaron, when we were
What's the new
10, 12 years old.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so hold it really close up where it looks like the Raptor is.
On the bottom. Yeah.
On the bottom left. Is that a YF-22? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that is an old ass poster, dude. That's cool.
Yep.
There's a Tomcat on there.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Well, and if you want to see, since we're doing a little show and tell, which I haven't hung up yet, I've also got the airliners version of this.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
So are they going to start taking tail numbers and liveries off of airliners too?
And then I've also got the old World War II version of this with like all the
nice
old warplanes and
That's
stuff
cool,
like that.
brother.
So
I like that.
anyway,
I like that.
as soon as I actually have time to get this room painted, all this will be hung up and my transition will be complete.
Awesome.
So yeah. Anyway, there you go, Wadman.
It's very similar to mine. Oh my God! What do you look? What is that, Aaron?
That's as soon as Ryan sees it, he'll love it.
That's Tony the Evil Wizard.
What happened to my neck?
It's no neck, dude. Look at my arms in that, dude. Damn, we're all buff.
I know.
The hell?
Right?
That's crazy. This is what Ryan was talking about a few minutes ago. It's just that freaking AI. Anyway, yeah, there was a bunch of them that I did that I sent over. So on Instagram, a lot of people probably saw this on Instagram. At least that follow us. Most of the people that watch a podcast also follow us on Instagram. But I posted actually a lot of these really cool photos that the AI actually here. Let me pull it up so you can see it.
Dude, you have no idea, Aaron and Tony, how hard I laughed when I saw these. Just
I know
they're good.
Those were funny. Okay, so what these are real quick. I'll just go through these real quick. These are let me see if I can zoom in. Nope, I can't. Anyway, these are AI generated off of photos that these are ones that these are photos that I took and then I put it into this fantasy AI edit software and this is what it came up with. That's an F-16.
Right.
So right here is an F-35. This is an F-22 and this is an F-16.
Wow.
Yeah, and look at this F-16, dude. That's Ghost. That's what it did to Ghost, the 64th Aggressor F-16. Wow. Look at it, dude. It looks like swords on its.
So this is just artificial intelligence.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
That's pretty cool looking.
Dude, look at that shit. Texas Afterburner, he posted this on his story on Instagram and he's like, it's looking like some Star Wars stuff and I'm digging it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Looks like it's taken off from Xandar.
I know, dude. It's totally got that vibe. Somebody actually commented and said that the Nova Corps could totally fly those.
Oh, there you go.
From the Marvel comics. But yeah, that's an F-35 actually taking off from Nellis.
Wow.
And then there's an F-35 Flex at Nellis.
Shooting lasers off of its wingtips.
I know, dude. Looks like lightsabers. And then there's a Typhoon.
Typhoon, right.
And then there's a Raptor.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's hilarious.
I know, isn't it? It's pretty cool. And there's the Voyager, there's the A330 multi-role tanker transport, and then, dude, look at that thing, man! Look at that tanker.
I mean, I think
KC-135.
these are cool, man. I think they're cool.
They are pretty cool, aren't they? Aren't they?
Oh,
and then
man.
the last one, it's another Viper Flex. But anyway,
put up the picture of the three of us again, where Tony looks like an evil wizard. Dude, I had a headache. I was laughing so hard last.
While you're pulling that up, Lil Hess checking in. Hey, buddy. Whoops, we got somebody clicked on there. Anyway, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw that from you guys. Star Wars, yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's funny. And then we got Lil Hess checking in. Sick posters. What's up?
They are pretty sick, aren't they? Dude, last night when I was sending those over, I was dying laughing.
I look like one of the dwellers from Lord of the Rings.
Well, I had to zoom in on one of Aaron. I'll show on my phone.
Oh no! What the? Oh, whoops, we gotta hold on, Ryan. We can't see that. Aaron, get rid of that picture for a sec.
That was good.
Show it now.
This one.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Ooh, sorry, the light is kind of getting in the way.
I thought there was a really funny one where Tony had a cape on. Remember that one? Dude.
Anyway, that was a good laugh.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, there's Tony again, the evil wizard.
Dude, show him the one where you look like Richard Branson, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a cool one.
I think it's the first one. You literally look like Richard Branson.
Oh, where are they? I downloaded them all, but it doesn't. Oh, it's right here. Just keep talking for a sec. I'll find it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
that's fine.
And if you're watching the podcast and you were ready to hear about what we were going to talk about, as in WTF is up with ATC and the FAA, you're going to have to wait a second. We'll get to it.
Hey, it's always a good time. We're talking about this one, Aaron.
Yeah, dude, it looks like you're getting ready to board your Virgin rocket right now.
I can't believe it. It's like,
that is so funny.
It's his twin right there.
That's so funny.
Oh man, that is too funny.
Good stuff. And then I think this one's actually really cool. If I was had an avatar.
Yeah,
it's me in the cockpit of an SR-71, and I look like freaking Iron Man or something.
I know, dude. Damn, look at that. That's funny.
Anyway,
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, those are good. So obviously, I mean, do you guys want to just kind of segue into, a quick about us before we go into our other topics? Yeah. I mean, just why we're here. I mean, if you've been watching, whoever's watching or will watch in the future for the the next 30 minutes, I mean, we're just kind of bullshitting, and we had a topic we were just talking about that Carver brought up, which is interesting. We'll have to look into that more, but I just I wanted to bring up why we're kind of doing this, and we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I just felt it was important because I listen to a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of aviation on YouTube and different channels. I mean, like we mentioned Ward Carroll the other day. He was talking about the F-35C ramp strike, deck strike, the Navy. There are some podcasts and some news sources out there, and some that are extremely credible. And I'm not necessarily going to call them out on here, but that just, I don't know, man. They just put out that vibe that they're just going to be good little sheep and say the things that need to be said in order to be included. And it just drives, like I was listening, for instance, I was listening to again, I'm not going to say which podcast it was because I don't want to give it a bad rap, because I actually really like the host of the podcast and how it's done. But they had a guest on and they were talking about, the war in Ukraine, and they were talking about how, there's no major offenses going on right now because the ground hadn't frozen. And so the tanks are just, they would just get caught in mud. And and the guest actually just came out and said, well, what we're witnessing is the first major conflict that's affected by global warming.
God.
And immediately I turned the fucking thing off because, I mean, I know it starts to get into that political realm, but it's like the problem is that type of person. They're not the type that says, well, I believe in global warming, but what do you believe in? They say, well, if you don't believe in global warming, then fuck you and you're a piece of shit and you don't get to say anything. That's the problem with that side of the argument, is they don't want to discuss it. They don't want to have a discussion. They don't want to actually, in a professional way, lay out all their evidence and all the research they've done and say, well, here's why I believe this. They don't want to do that. Right. And the unfortunate thing is, and I think it's kind of an unspoken rule that if you want to play in the game of media or, television or, you have to play by the game, and you have to say the things that they want you to say.
You don't want to be canceled or censored.
Exactly. And that's what's so irritating about it. And that's why I think it's kind of refreshing what we do, because we're not about that. We're just about, hey, here's how we see it. It was just like that episode that we did a few years ago, about, I don't even remember what episode. Remember we were discussing, was
it the episode you're entitled to your own opinion, even if you sound like a dumbass or something like that?
I don't know. It might have been, but it had to do with like gay pilots or gay flight attendants or, diversity, with different races or something like that. And it's just ludicrous what some of these people talk about, where it's like, to us, none of that matters. It's like,
who cares?
If you're qualified, great.
Yeah.
Like, let's go have a beer. I'll go have a beer with you. Who cares?
Yeah. And we have our, we let people know like how we feel about things and our opinions, and we're not opinionated at all. We can get into that, but that's just it. They're just opinions, but like, we're never like telling anyone. In my opinion, on this podcast, we have never said that someone should be a certain way or else, or
we don't tell you how to think.
Right. And we're not going to say things that people like tell us how to think. We'll be like, okay, well, if you want to tell us how to think, well, then, fuck you, but we're still going to be us and do what we want to do. But that's just it. Like, I get what you're saying, Aaron, like along those lines, because it's almost like, especially in the last few years, and especially with this aviation community, what we're here to try to do and what we love to watch, it's like, I'm the same way as you. And it doesn't even just have to do with aviation. If I am watching something or I'm listening to a podcast and something like that, it immediately just turns me off. And I'm just like,
yeah.
And it's not because it's his opinion. It's because someone comes on and they're like, well, what we're seeing is this because of global war. He didn't say like, he didn't put it like something in a sense of like, well, in my opinion, there could be some issues going on with this, and this is what I believe, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, this is what we're seeing.
Well, like, they just lay it out like it's 100% fact.
Yeah,
no,
and I would be like, oh, should we get someone from California on that just had snow? Oh, wait, or Or should we talk to the people in Mount Washington and New Hampshire that set in minus 108 degrees temperature?
Or let's have the billionaires on that buy up all the oceanfront property all along the coast of the United States, whether it's the East Coast or the West Coast. Because if shit was really going down and the oceans were rising, first of all, there wouldn't be billionaires buying those properties along the ocean.
Yeah.
Secondly, these financial institutions wouldn't be lending people and companies to build these properties because there'd be too much risk. I mean, all I'm saying is I'm not telling anybody what to think. I'm just saying open your own eyes, wake up yourself, and go discover this for yourself. Don't just be caught up by what you see or hear from anybody.
Here's the dumbest shit in the world. This is the dumbest logic. Okay, so you're talking about they're buying up land on, you know, oceanfront property and whatever, but then you've got these dumbasses. Oh well, you know, the ice caps are melting and all the icebergs are melting and the ocean's going to rise. Think about that for a second. Okay, get a glass of water, put an ice cube in it, and watch it melt. Is your cup going to overflow? No. God, it's so fucking getting back to what you were saying though on the podcast, you know, about him talking about, you know, well, there's really no fighting going on because of the you know, because it's all muddy and you know, this is the first time we're witnessing a war during global. He's acting like none of our soldiers ever have fought in the fucking mud before.
Well, I mean, and it's the way that he laid
World War II veterans.
What rubbed me the wrong way was the way he laid it out. Like, well, this is fact. Like this is why there's not because it is global warming. Well, it's not. Like had he said. Could it maybe be because maybe there's something to do with global warming? Like maybe not. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess what I'm saying is I'm just tired of people just throwing it out. Like if it's just fact and it's like, it's just.
Well, let me segue into not segue, but talk about aircraft images, literally a thing and go do your own research. You know what? That's exactly kind of the point we're making. It's like, it's like everyone should be open to hear something and then just, you know, maybe critical think, maybe do a little research on your own, put in a little time rather than just putting no time and just saying it like it is. Like, absolutely. Like, go do your own research. Don't argue with me about it because you feel a certain way or you think it's fact. Just go do your own research. It's great.
Yeah, and there's many times where I'll read, you know, like a news article or I'll watch something, and I'm like, I don't really know if I believe that or I don't really know if I agree with that, and so then I'll go look it up and I'll go, oh, okay, well now it makes sense because now I have more context about what was said because I actually did a little bit of research. But anyway,
right. Do a little research, form your own thoughts. And it's just, and then one more thing about, you know, Ukraine. If you're wondering what the hell is going on, you don't know what to believe. You're being told every day that if you don't support Ukraine on this side, then you're supporting Putin and just do your own research so you don't end up being one of these.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
and the thing is too, it's like if you really start looking, like wake up a little bit and start looking, you see some of the most corrupt, dishonest pieces of shit on this planet all have Ukraine flags in their social media profiles. So it's like, am I really just going to take it to face value? I don't know.
Right.
I don't think. Me personally, no, I'm not. There's way more to it than what's being said.
And good old penis piano playing Vladimir. I mean, you know, Zelensky. Have you seen that clip? Oh my God. Anyway, he's on TV saying that America should send their sons and daughters over here. over to Ukraine to fight Russia, and that
I
American
know.
men and women die for Ukraine. Well, yeah, I'll tell you what. Okay, that's fine. Let's just send all the people with the Ukraine flags in their profiles
first. I actually think that his statement was taken out of context, because I read a larger statement and it said if Ukraine loses to Russia, then what's going to happen is Russia's just going to keep going, and then that's when the U.S. sons and daughters are
if NATO gets involved, that's when.
Exactly.
But even still,
but it's just it's ridiculous though how just the way he lays it out. Either way, but I don't know.
All right, we digress.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron, go for it. We wanted to kind of let you guys know what we're all about. You know what our beliefs are. You guys do. If you've watched the podcast enough, you know what we're about. We're about aviation. And if anything, whether it's stupidity, diversity, wokeness, whatever, fucks with the aviation industry, we're going to call it out. Go ahead.
Yes, we are. Anyway, so we just have almost like a little mission statement that we put on all of our social media. And basically it goes like this: our focus, aviation awareness via news and current events; our passion, highlighting the beauty, thrill, and vital role aviation plays in all our lives. And I just think that just says it well, because I mean, we really are trying to bring, aviation awareness to everybody. Aviation is important. Our lives wouldn't function, and the world wouldn't function the way that it does without aviation. It's so critical. I mean, whether it's airlines or cargo operators, medical transports, our military, just general aviation, just enjoying yourself, having fun.
And airplanes are so damn cool.
They are. And that's where, goes into the passion part of our mission statement. We love showing off the beauty and the thrill and how badass aircraft are. I mean, they are whether it's, beautiful, freaking awesome 747 or 777, or just, a military jet, an F-35, F-16, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's all about sharing that passion, here getting sentimental. Hey brother. I get to do this with my family, with my brothers. We get to go on a podcast and we get to talk about airplanes. And growing up, that's the shit we did. We played with planes when we were a kid. We went to air shows when we were young. We grew up working in the industry. We just, I've said this before on this podcast. If I could make a really good amount of money fueling airplanes and de-icing, I'd still be doing that today. The passion and the love is there. I just had to do some other things to, improve my quality of life. And I could have gone up into some management and there were opportunities, but I don't want to be in an office. I want to be out on the tarmac. I want to be under the wings. I want to be there, but and we want to, for me. So in other words, I'm trying to say, long story short, is that I just like to be able to share this with people, and people being YouTube, but also other people. It's just fun, So anyway, that's why I'm glad we're doing it.
It's true. And we get goofy and, language and bullshit around and whatever. And I think too many people, when it comes to aviation, especially podcasts, and I'm not knocking any format, because what works for everybody, to each their own. I mean, it's totally fine. And I listen to a lot of stuff, but it's everybody tries to be so professional and so straight as an arrow, and
that's
and well, it's not, and it never has been, and that's never been our goal. But our I would say our goal is basically just to show the passion and throw some news and, have some fun while we're doing it.
Shoot the shit, talk about airplanes. I mean, how many times do you get to do that? Seriously.
Yeah.
If you just walk up to a stranger and say, "Hey, I'm Tony from the RampCheck podcast. You want to watch or talk about airplanes?" And then they look at you like a deer in the headlights.
I actually have a really funny story this week. So,
or wife about that.
I was on the phone with customer support because one of my internet devices at the house was acting up and I couldn't get it rebooted. So I called into customer service, and it's the stereotypical Indian guy over in India answers, and
Thank you
what
for
can
calling
I
technical support. My name is Hector. May I help you?
Anyway, and he was a cool dude, and he was trying so hard. The English and the accent was so strong. I mean, I felt bad for him because I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to say that again. I don't know. I don't understand what you just said. Anyway, he was patient with me and whatever. But so we were waiting for this device to reboot, and so we're just kind of chilling. And I said, so I'm into aviation, and I just saw that Air India put in this huge order with Boeing and Airbus for a bunch of new airliners. And I just thought that was interesting because I was just reading about that. And, now here I am speaking to somebody who's in India. And it was really cool because the guy he's like, I actually do follow that. Aviation's, he's like, aviation's a pretty big passion of mine. And I'm like, hey, that's awesome, man. I thought that was a cool connection to have.
That is pretty cool.
So
it's
anyway,
the same language. It's the same language wherever you go around the world. Aviation is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep. Very true.
It definitely is. So we, as you guys know, the three of us, we run another business. When we're not, nerding out over airplanes or hanging out at Red Flag or air shows or whatever. That's kind of what pays the bills to allow us to do this. But we thought we'd run a little experiment at this last trade show we were at, and we put this. We made this and put it up in a frame and just set it up in our booth. And we actually had a handful of people that walked up and said, "Hey, what's this Love Aviation thing about?" And then I just kind of told them about it. And
yeah, that's cool.
And so for those of you that we met at the trade show and scan that, and you're watching the RampCheck podcast for the first time, welcome. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to our own little universe or whatever. So
that's right. Welcome to the world of RampCheck.
Absolutely.
Global.
Speaking of that, make sure, if you haven't already, jump over to YouTube if you're watching us on Twitter and Facebook. Subscribe to our channel. Make sure you like the podcast. And hit that little notification bell and share it with a friend. We did get some more new subscribers this last week, so we're really happy about that. We're on our way to 1,000 and more.
Nice.
We want to go way up. But make sure you do that. Subscribe, and while you're there, stick around, watch a few of our videos, and like I said, like them, and then share them with friends. And of course, we do the RampCheck podcast live stream every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
That's right.
Yes.
There you have it.
Well said.
Well, why don't we quickly talk about the near miss incidents, because we're running a little short on time. We're already at 54 minutes into this thing.
What the hell?
Goes fast.
We're
well, that's actually the best thing about our format. I like that we just shoot the shit, man. I don't, I hate being on a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
All right. So shall we start with, let's see. Oh, looks like here. Let's start with this one. Then we'll move over to yours, Aaron. Can you guys see that one? Okay?
Yeah.
Is that all right? Okay.
Yep.
So another near miss. A landing Mesa Airlines jet avoids departing SkyWest flight. That's kind of a weak headline. But
look at this.
What's that?
Sorry, Noah just texted me this. He just sent me a picture of him watching the podcast live.
Nice.
Put it back
Noah.
up there so we can see it larger.
Okay.
What's up, Noah? Nice.
If it's
Nice.
I can kind of see it, yeah, but no, that's awesome.
So Noah was with us at what was it, Red Flag 22-3 or 22-2?
1-1.
22-1. Yep. So Noah,
Yeah, last year.
Got to get you out here. So come to Red Flag with us again. But
That's right.
I wanted to show this. So another concerning incident has taken place involving a close call between two aircraft at a U.S. airport.
Yeah, I'm listening. Sorry, I'm showing Noah the picture of Noah and I at Red Flag on the AI. Sorry, Tony. Sorry, Tony. Continue.
Squirrel. The latest event took place on February 22nd at California's Hollywood Burbank Airport and involved a United Express E-175 that was cleared to take off in United Express SkyWest. The same time, an American Eagle CRJ-900 Mesa Airlines was approaching to land. The CRJ-900, operated by Mesa, was forced to perform a go-around to avoid catastrophe. So, I mean, it's just another incident. And the other thing, too, is there's not a lot of wiggle room at Burbank Airport. Look how close it is to the mountains.
Yeah. That's like Scottsdale.
Well, yeah, and the thing about the controller is the controller got confused and was saying, go left. Oh, no, I mean right, or go left. And if I was the pilot, I mean, if you listen to the audio recordings, and we do have those up, and I would like to share that here in a second. But the pilots just were calm, cool, and collected. They were professional. Even the controller got a little rattled a few times, but tried to maintain professionalism. And I'm not going to say it right now. We'll watch the video first, but I do think that there's other forces behind what's actually going on. So Aaron, go ahead and show your story, and then I want to show that video here in a minute.
Okay. All right. So this is from Axios. The FAA is investigating more alarming airplane near disasters. So aviation officials are investigating two more alarming recent near misses 2 weeks after the FAA announced a safety call to action following several other concerning incidents. In the most recent incidents, a business jet took off without clearance at Boston Logan International Airport on Monday, forcing an incoming JetBlue flight to go around. So that one wasn't ATC. That was the pilots of the business jet. Per air traffic control recordings, the business jet was told to line up and wait on one runway while the JetBlue flight was approaching an intersecting runway. That's not a takeoff clearance, but the smaller jet started its takeoff roll anyway, putting it in the path of the inbound JetBlue flight. The JetBlue pilots, boys, say that 3 times fast, aborted their landing, went around and landed about 10 minutes later. In a go-around, pilots add power. Okay, yeah, we know that.
Yeah,
we're all aviation geeks here. We know what a go-around is. The intrigue. So Logan, which is a particularly complicated runway layout, was the site of a 2005 near miss that was about 70 feet from potentially becoming one of the worst commercial air disasters in history. Damn, I want to look that up. I wonder what that was.
Yep.
Well, it does have a
link.
Yeah, I'll click on it after. Okay. In a separate incident at California's Hollywood Burbank, that's the one Tony was just talking about. Mm-hmm. SkyWest aircraft took off while the Mesa flight went around. The two aircraft were alarmingly close to one another for at least several seconds per radar data.
This is the carrier part that's next.
Yeah. Air traffic control audio recording suggests the controller struggled to immediately separate the aircraft. The Mesa pilots received and complied with an alert from their aircraft's collision avoidance system. That system, called TCAS, can automatically detect nearby planes and tell pilots how to avoid collision.
Mm-hmm.
And the TCAS stands for, Traffic Alert Collision Avoidance System. If the two planes with the latest TCAS tech are dangerously close to one another, their respective TCAS units can sync up. For instance, the pilots of one plane will be told to climb and the other to descend. By the numbers of annual runway incursions has been trending largely downward over the last two decades, but has risen in more recent years. So you can see, a chart here. Wow, that's crazy.
So I have a quick question and comment to throw in there really quick. Oh yeah, and it says right there, go arounds happen all the time. I remember working the ramp, and we're right by the runways, and go arounds do happen. So, do you think that this is actually an increase in incidents, or just an increase in reporting the incidents? Because it just seems like we're hearing about it a lot more. Do you think it still happened quite a bit, and then they're just publicly reporting more? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, maybe the media is trying to report on a bunch of other things going on, to hide what is really going on in the country.
Yeah, maybe.
So they're just kind of being nitpicky. I don't know. I mean, it certainly, if you look at this chart again, I mean, it certainly doesn't look like, anything significant. I mean, it's certainly down.
Runway incursions.
Yeah. That's true.
So just one thing to think about. But yeah, and Ryan, I want to touch on that a little bit more, kind of what you said, because there could be another reason behind what's going on, and I know that Tucker Carlson, he had a little rant, and I think we've got a video that we want to show on that. But first, I want to go ahead and play. This is from who is it from here? VAS Aviation on YouTube. They put together an animation that shows the radar data with the actual ATC tapes, and I want to go ahead and play this. So go ahead. So,
Number 47 Charlie, runway 26 clear to land, one variable exit.
26 clear to land, 47 Charlie.
And number 47 Charlie, traffic will hold in position on runway 33.
47 Charlie.
Move your scroll up, Tony, so you can see the wording too.
5326 rep.
5326. Turn right onto runway 33, back taxi as necessary, runway 33, line up and wait.
Turn on to runway 33, back taxi as necessary, SkyWest 5326, line up and wait.
So they're telling SkyWest to line up and wait, and you look at the bottom right-hand corner, and then there's Mesa.
Visual, runway 33.
Southwest 2250, right turn, next taxiway, contact ground 123.9, have a good day.
Right turn ground, south 26, good.
Air Shuttle 5826, Burberry entire traffic zone in position, runway 33, continue.
33, continue, shuttle.
So just to clarify, Air Shuttle, that's the ATC designator for Mesa Airlines, just so you know, Air Shuttle.
826.
Burberry information, Kilo is now current runway 815, correction 2633 in use, and Burberry altimeter 29er 89er. Police 100, runway 26 on the numbers, clear to land, hold short of 33.
26 on the numbers, clear to land, hold short of 33, please hold fire.
So now what they're showing you here is just kind of...
November 47 Charlie, go around and turn base for runway 33. You're going to be following a regional jet on a 2-mile final.
47 Charlie going around.
And then this 47 Charlie, it almost seems like she forgets about him, because she tells him where to go, and then he's like waiting for additional vectors to get back into the pattern. So...
47 Charlie, start your crosswind turn now, please.
Was that a right crosswind for 47 Charlie?
Crosswind. Left crosswind.
Left crosswind, thank you. 47 Charlie. Burbank Tower, Twin Star 704 Alpha Bravo over El Monte, looking for a transition to your airspace.
Clear for takeoff.
Okay.
33, clear for takeoff. Sky 6326.
Video 2623, clear to land.
So did you hear that? So that was like a garbled communication. And I don't know if SkyWest assumed they were cleared for takeoff or if that was another aircraft, but then SkyWest called in. She did. Let me run that again, that little portion there. Let's see. Whoops, where'd we go?
Oh, you went way back.
I did. I went way forward, actually. Sorry about that.
Crosswind.
Okay, here we go.
Left crosswind.
Left crosswind, thank you. 47 Charlie. Burbank Tower, Twin Star 704 Alpha Bravo over El Monte, looking for a transition to your airspace.
2623, clear for takeoff.
33, clear for takeoff. Sky 6326.
Video
So she cleared SkyWest for takeoff. You guys catch that?
2623, clear to land. Out. Air Shuttle 5826, affirmative, runway 33, clear to land.
So immediately when she cleared SkyWest for takeoff, she cleared Air Shuttle to land. These aren't these tapes aren't edited. This is actual real time.
You up the runway yet?
No, we're going around.
Air Shuttle 5826,
Play that again.
out. Air Shuttle 5826, affirmative, runway 33, clear to land.
You up the runway yet?
No, we're going around.
Air Shuttle 5826, roger, climb and maintain 4,000, fly runway heading.
What was the altitude?
4,000.
4,000, 5826.
And you also see how close this 5.
Guys, 5326, person. Air Shuttle 5826, turn right heading 270. Left 270.
Here's one more thing I want to point out, guys. Just give me 1 second.
It's kind of hard to follow it, Tony. So,
Okay.
Right heading 270. Left 270.
Left 270, show 5826.
I'll just let it play. We'll talk about it.
Burbank Tower, Twin Star 704 Alpha Bravo, looking for a VFR transition to Van Nuys.
Stand by.
So that's 547 Charlie wanting his information, and she's like, "Yeah, no." She realizes what.
Guys, 5326, continue on the set.
Continue on the SIS, guys, 5326.
And there's SkyWest.
Air Shuttle 5826, continue your climb.
Continuing the climb, show 5826.
jeez.
Air Shuttle 5826, do you have the Embraer Insight 2500 off your right?
Negative, we got an RA, we're complying with it.
Air Shuttle 5826, roger, turn right 30 degrees, left 30 degrees.
Oh my
Left
gosh.
30 degrees, show 5826.
Guys, 5326, contact SoCal 120.4.
123.4, Skies 5326.
120.4.
04, Skies 5326. Tower 47 Charlie, I'm sorry, if you just want to give me vectors, I won't be happy.
He's like, don't forget
November
about me.
47 Charlie, do you not want to land anymore? November 47 Charlie, runway 33, clear to land. Air Shuttle 5826, fly heading 190.
Heading 190, show 5826.
Air Shuttle 5826, contact SoCal on 120.4.
20.4, show 5826.
Number 4 Sierra Charlie 1260 at 9er, gusting to 15, one way, 33, clear to land.
33, clear land, 47 Charlie.
Tower, Twin Star 704 Alpha Bravo.
So, what I wanted to point out too.
Well,
back up a little bit.
she gave 47 Charlie clearance to land like 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. And then he's like, "Don't forget about me. You know, I'd like to."
I know the last call she gave him before he came back. she told him on his left crosswind or whatever.
Yeah.
So
and then
by
she's
this
like,
time,
"Oh,
by
do you
this
not want to
time,
land anymore?"
I know he never said that he wasn't. Yeah.
Mhm.
That lady was having an extremely bad day, apparently.
Well,
and you know, I'm
no.
sure that job is very stressful, and I'm sure, you know, no disrespect, but you know, the 2 or 3 different times, turn left. No, wait, I mean right. Like,
Right.
what? Like, if you're in the cockpit, you've got to at some point be in like, you know, like we're being told different directions and then corrections. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a little concerning.
Yeah, it's tough because, you know, neither one of us have ever been a controller, and
Right.
you know, I mean, we've spoken to aircraft many times on the ground because of, you know, de-icing operations or, you know, or actually aircraft in the air too, but usually it's just, you know, they're calling ahead, hey, and, you know, we need our catering ready or rental cars or whatever.
So I want to point out really quick, while we're talking about this, look at the SkyWest flight number 5326. Look at the Air Shuttle flight number 5826.
Yeah.
Those are, look at how similar they are.
Yeah.
That's
So
probably one problem.
Hess just said that.
Oh yeah, Hess just said that. Yep.
See, and we've actually, when I was a dispatcher at SkyWest, we ran into some of those as well. But I mean, how easy is it to get that confused? Now, one plane was taking off, one plane was landing, but I mean, she sounded pretty frazzled there a couple of times. And so it's just situational awareness is a huge thing. Huge thing, because it's just like an airplane. An airplane can get away from you so fast. Well, that's the same thing when you're, I mean, you fly in Southern California, there's hundreds of planes, you know, within just a small radius. And so I remember when I was jump seating in an EMB 120, a Brasilia, from Monterey to Los Angeles. Oh no, excuse me. It was from San Francisco to Santa Barbara.
No, it's got to be your bowl.
Your bowl. And I was watching the TCAS, and when you're a jump seater, you know, the pilots, the crew, they ask you to keep a lookout out the window, just to check for, you know, visual traffic and make sure everything's good. Well, so we get a blip on our TCAS, and it shows another plane, and it's coming towards us, and it's getting closer, and it's getting closer, and finally we get an RA message on what to do. So we follow it and we turn right to get out of the way. Well, after I mean, this plane was so close, I swear I thought I could see the pilot's eyes, you know, but it wasn't, obviously. It just feels like it when you're in a situation like that. But it was a Cessna 421 taken off from Van Nuys, and he just came so close to us. It was scary. And then the SkyWest pilot got on the radio. After the guy passed us, the controller called up and said, hey, traffic. So, you know, blah, blah. He was calling out the traffic for us. And the SkyWest captain just said, yeah, thanks. It already passed us. I mean, it's really, really scary that what can happen, and especially when all that traffic's out there. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about that. I mean, that's all I had to say about that.
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah.
That video that you sent.
That's pretty good, huh?
Anyway.
The one I sent last night of the guy outrunning the police. He just gets out of the car and runs, and the Forrest Gump quote from that day on, if I was going somewhere, I was running. Yep.
Getting back to what happened in Burbank, of course, we talked about the incident, the near miss, again, 100 feet from catastrophe, basically, between a FedEx inbound and a Southwest outbound. But it just, and I hate to bring this up, but are they hiring qualified people for these jobs, or are they checking boxes? You know what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, well, we just have no idea, and that's why I posed the question, like, do these incidents happen a little more often and we just don't know about them and now they're being reported? Could it be that, but that sounds disrespectful to a lot of air traffic controllers if we're just assuming they're hired based on like diversity and not really like how good they are at the job, or if they're in need and so they're lowering requirements to be in it. Like, that's the thing. Maybe someone needs to investigate that and put out their findings, because it would be very I'd be very interested to see, like,
well,
because
and
it is kind of scary.
It is, and the whole thing too is it's not, when we say diversity and equity, to us, it's not a racial or gender thing.
It's not at
all. Now the mainstream media would like you to think that, because whenever somebody talks about gender or diversity or whatever, inclusion, they always put the picture up of a colored person, a black person, an Asian person, a woman, a transsexual. I mean, whatever.
It pisses me off, actually.
That's the narrative that they're trying to push, and all we're saying is it has nothing to do with the race or gender or whatever. It's diversity and inclusion. Though those words and those programs were put together, I guess people to feel better about themselves, because, hey, look, I hired somebody of color, so I guess I get a gold star on my forehead. I don't know.
Well,
it should never be about that. It should be about, hey, so and so, I don't give a shit what you look like or what.
Right.
Can you pass this test? Can you fly this simulator? Can you
do the job?
Can you do the job? And if the answer is yes, welcome aboard.
Yeah. Well, and if I say that, if I was saying something about qualified air traffic controllers and I use the term diversity, and you're listening and your mind went to like, how dare you, then you're the problem, not me, because that's not what I meant.
Exactly. And the unfortunate thing is the world's media has programmed everybody to be triggered, because if you say, I think diversity and inclusion programs are absolute bullshit, well, automatically they're like, oh, well, then you're racist and homophobic and whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's you should hire somebody that's qualified. That's it.
Period.
And see what it. But like, and that's why I was very specific to say, like, I'm not in any way disrespecting any air traffic controllers. I'm sure it's a very stressful job. Your understaffed facilities and fatigue. And absolutely. I mean, if they're understaffed, then they're probably working heavy hours.
Yeah.
And fatigue can cause anyone to do anything in any job. That
remember Doug Jones, my buddy I used to work with at Salt Lake International. He was air traffic controller, and he quit because they were gonna force him to take the jab, and he's like, I'm not taking that fucking jab.
Yeah.
And so he quit, and a lot of, I'm sure what's going on too is the lack of availability, because I mean, there's still airlines, dude, that won't hire you unless you're fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
And it's like, with everything coming out on how ineffective the vaccines were, it's just ridiculous policies like that would be in place.
Right. So if there's a ridiculous policy like that in place, especially about the COVID jab, then there's got to be other reasons why they are understaffed. And my guess, because of the whole COVID thing and everything else, and they can't hire enough people because they won't hire people that are unvaccinated. Who's to who's to say that they're not going to hire a certain person, or they're not hiring enough people because their workforce isn't diverse enough.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and you know what?
Maybe.
United Airlines has started doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is frustrating.
And
I
you
mean,
know,
it's
like
it should never be that way.
And when you add it in, you know, another factor could be, you know, the understaffing could also be what you guys just talked about. So they lost a lot of people. But not only that, like there was probably, when it came to air traffic controllers, probably a generation of like a certain age, and they all got to the end of their careers. They saw the light at the end of the tunnel of early retirement because of what they were forcing people to do. So boom, you lose a big group of career air traffic controllers.
Yep.
And then you have that gap between the new ones and then the ones that are there that are more, all of a sudden they go from being at the bottom of the totem pole to the top. And then you have that transition period where they didn't hire enough people. And then you have a hard time hiring qualified people if you have these stupid policies in place where it's not based on how qualified you are.
Exactly, because then people will just line up and go, oh, well, you know, I'm going to get hired because I'm this checkbox.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Yeah, and we just want the aviation industry. That's why we're here. We want it to thrive. We don't want it getting worse, you know.
We want it to be safe.
Yeah, so I mean, but yeah, again, like it's just odd to me that all of a sudden we're hearing about all of these, and once again, it could be that they happen often anyways, and now we're just hearing about it, or it could be that it actually is not as good as it used to be, and it's kind of scary. Like I kind of the hair on, I don't know about you guys, but the hair on the back of my neck kind of stood up when she's just like, you know, left, no, right, and the pilot's just like, we're just following our, what does he call it?
Our RA.
Our RA, you know, he's like, you can tell the tone in his voice is like, no, I don't see him. Like, I'm doing what you told me to do. Like, so no, I don't see him.
You almost turned me right into him.
Yeah, it kind of just gave me chills, and I'm just like, wow, you know. And in the meantime, everyone probably on that one, at least one of the aircraft that weren't on the go around, had no idea what just happened. You know, they're just like, you know, AVGEEKs know if they're on the plane, does it go around? You're like, hey, like something didn't go right in the approach.
Something didn't go right.
Yeah,
exactly.
But like if you're on the runway taking off and you just took off, you had no idea. And it's kind of scary, but.
Well, there are hundreds of go-arounds every day with the amount of flights that are operating every day. I mean, hell, I worked for SkyWest Airlines, a regional airline, and we were operating 2,000 flights a day. That was just us.
Yeah.
That didn't include the other regional airlines. It didn't include all the major airlines. It didn't include the GA traffic. It didn't include the military traffic. So a go-around is it's a common maneuver that you're taught, you know, as a pilot, and you're gonna experience at least one to go around or whatever. So those are a lot, but when the go around or the situation that forces the go around causes something where it's this close, I mean, literally when you're 100 feet from another airplane, you are less than 2 seconds from something that could be completely fatal and catastrophic.
Yeah.
And it's just, they're getting worse. So has something changed over the last 2.5 years, 3 years? Is that why we're hearing more about it? I don't know. Maybe
that's up for you guys to all speculate.
Well, part of the problem is the whole COOF pandemic bullshit screwed up so many things in this world and so many industries, and whether that was by design or it's just the residual effect of what happened, it's obvious that a lot of industries are going to take it's going to take a while in order to get back up to speed. And it's unfortunate because aviation is one of those industries where you can't learn from mistakes because that costs lives. You have to be right the first time.
You have to be proactive.
And it's like, you know, you can't be hiring people just because it's going to make you look good on a sheet, you know, that you turn into your government funding or, you know, whatever. It's got to be people qualified, and that's it. That's all it's about.
Maybe our Secretary of Transportation or Transportation Secretary, maybe it would be a good idea to take some time from his personal time flying around on his private jet all over God knows where, and maybe have him look into it. And maybe another focus should be to look into this other than going around and changing acronyms to please the mob. Notices to fucking air missions. That still just drives me up the wall.
I'd like to send a notum.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You know, I just, we all sound so frustrated. You know, we're not trying to be downers. We're just trying to say, like, we want this industry that we're so involved in to thrive. And, you know, like, transportation sector, I mean, just worthless. Like, you know, and for once, I would just love one of these guys in these positions. It's really not that hard, if you ask me. Like, if he's in a line of questioning and they're talking about him flying around on private, like, why don't they ever just stick up and be like, yeah, you know, this is my job. I have a lot of places I need to be. I absolutely fly on that plane. It's for a purpose. But instead, they just lie about why they do it. They just lie. And it's like, stop lying and just do your job. Like, that's all we want. That's all we want you to do. We want you to investigate when things go wrong. We want you to tell us what you're doing to try to make it right. We don't want you placing blame. We just want you to do your job.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your personal life is, and like, so what? It doesn't matter. But I'll just come out and say it. Unfortunately, I'm sure he was a diversity inclusion hire.
Yeah. Well,
you think?
Well, no, I honestly think that the administration actually admitted that. I really do. Like,
which is ridiculous. If he was totally qualified, if he was totally qualified to do it, just hire him. So what?
It doesn't matter.
I mean,
successful, unsuccessful, your orientation means nothing to me. I really don't care. I really don't care. Like, it's crazy how people make it a thing that you care, and I get so passionate about it because I'm just like, who cares?
Well,
like,
it's because everybody that's hired or that's included in these programs, they happen to be, a person of color or gay or or a woman or whatever. Unfortunately, these groups, and so if you're like, well, I'm against these groups, then the mainstream media wants everybody to believe, well, if you're against the groups, then you're a racist and you're all these things.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
that's not
stupid.
what it's about. Just get rid of the programs and just hire who's the best person.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
and
it.
Again,
because
if
I know. I don't know.
So an example with what's happening right now, how about the FAA maybe pause their diversity, inclusion, and equity program training that's mandatory for everybody? How about we start focusing again on adequate rest for controllers and getting more controllers out there, and quit your fucking virtue signaling and changing terms from that have been around since the 1950s, or even since the birth of aviation. Oh, well, maybe we should call it this so people don't feel bad. No, fix the fucking problems, because you know what? If things keep on going like this, there is going to be a catastrophic loss of life.
Yeah.
And airplanes. And
it's all an excuse to hide negligence, is all it is, because
it's exactly what
they want you to not speak up because of something, and it's an excuse for negligence, and we're just against negligence, to be honest. So, but anyway, should we move on? That's like a big tangent of ours, but I think it was important to touch on. Absolutely.
Yeah, the podcast is at an hour 30. We should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, we should. We're getting there. Sorry, it's just, this is a really important topic that not enough people are talking about.
Yeah,
they're really not.
Yeah, because they don't dare to. Because they're like,
Exactly,
well, I don't want to offend my black friend, or I don't want to offend, the gay pilot that I know and associate with. It's like, I don't care that they're gay. I don't care that they
why
don't
do we
look like
have to
me.
use-
It doesn't matter.
Why do we have to use the label in front? Why can't we say, I just don't want to offend my friend?
Right. Just like
Right?
what Morgan Freeman, that I love that
Exactly.
Morgan Freeman interview where who is it? Mike Wallace, I think, is interviewing him. And basically Morgan Freeman's like, Wallace is like, well, how do we get rid of racism then? And he says, stop talking about it. He's like, I'm gonna ask you to not call me a black man, and then and then you should expect, and then I'm not going to call you a white man. We're just Americans. We're just human beings.
Yeah, but you don't understand.
And what's wrong with that? I know.
You don't understand. It's can of worms, man. But it doesn't have to be. But it's do your own research. Again, come to your conclusions by critical thinking and not just by what you're told to do. Yep. I think that's the important thing. Yeah, there it is. Literally again. Yeah, hey, I was just saying that.
I know. I just put the comment up there because you were saying it.
Great minds. Nah, it's okay. Great minds. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
thanks. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just gonna say, what other? I'm looking at our show notes here.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, no, we covered everything. That's okay. It's a good time to end. No, I think we're at an hour 30. So
first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for watching the RampCheck podcast. Once again, you guys know we're passionate about our beliefs. We're also passionate about common sense. And thanks for putting up with us tonight. I know the show wasn't quite as funny as it usually is, whether that's intentional or not intentional. But thanks again for watching the podcast. Don't forget, we do this every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time live. And we're really excited too. We've got another red flag coming up, 23-2. We're going to be there the second week of March. Let's see, the second week of red flag during March. And so we will be there Wednesday, March 22nd through Friday the 24th. So if you're planning on coming down to red flag, you want to hang out with us, it's really a good time. If you haven't done it before, make sure you come down and join us. And as far as the podcast goes, of course, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also check out our Ramp Swag store. Guys, you want to chime in really quick on the Ramp Swag store?
Yeah, sure. I didn't have it queued up. I wasn't ready for it, but
Matt Thiemann, check back in.
Hey, what's up?
Thiemann.
What's up,
see,
Matt?
See, this is where, while Aaron's queuing that up, go ahead, Aaron. I'll give my send off in a second.
I was just going to show some of the red flag ramp swag that we have tonight. These are really cool because you've got, coffee mug. The beer steins are pretty badass.
Got to get me.
I know, these are pretty cool. Those are awesome. Anyway, it's got the red flag design on it. It's got a cool gold ring on the top and bottom. But anyway, it's good. That? What's that?
I said, whose hand was that?
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, just part of the advertising. Mm-hmm. But anyway, and then of course, we've got a bunch of other stuff on there, including the shoes and more hats and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, check out the Ramp Swag, RampCheckGlobal.com.
Yes, and Wadman says the hat arrived yesterday and it fixed great. That's awesome. We appreciate that very much.
Sweet.
And spinny side up, the Rotor Wing yoga pants are a hit.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, so Hess contacted me, and his girlfriend wanted some. Where are they? Oh yeah, here they are. So I made some EC 145 and some 407 pants.
Nice.
Yeah, check those out. That's cool.
Very cool.
But anyway.
Nice.
Anyway. So, but yeah, I'm glad, Hess. Thanks again, man.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks,
Absolutely.
Aircraft Images. Yeah, we'll definitely see you next week.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching another edition of the RampCheck podcast. And I know I'm out. How about you guys?
Absolutely.
Is this our send-off?
That's Aaron.
I know, Tony. What the hell was that? You usually set it up and you're all, ugh, where's your pipe, dude? And your fucking mug. So I don't know about you, but I'm
out. God. I know, I'm waiting for the cue to send it off. Oh no. Here we go. Here we go.
Monopoly Man.
looking for the outro.
Anyway, I just want to give a shout out to everyone listening. And thank everyone for support. Tony says, sorry, we're that. Like, we are who we are. We love what we do. Take us or leave us, but we're here to stay, and we're going to keep doing it. And, we're going to talk about sometimes topics that maybe some people don't want to talk about, but it's who we are, right? So anyway, all right, Tony, do you want to start the send-off?
Dude, Wadman? Tony dropping the ball
at the end.
Well, yes, it's better than the beginning because my internet's not working. The end of the podcast of funny.
All right.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'm Tony.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Ryan. Good day.